Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio. It is time for another happy hour, which means that we just want to take some time and highlight some women doing some amazing things in the beverage business and hopefully give you a space to take a minute of your day. If you're choosing to drink, please drink responsibly. And a note on this episode, this one is not sponsored, but for full disclosure, the company did send us free product to try. So we are talking today about Highway Vodka, and we went to their website to look at some recipes we would be interested in making. Samantha, what did you end up concocting?
So I realized that I was missing like one ingredient on almost every single one of those recipes. So I decided to do my own variation. And I made myself a mule, except I have hibiscus ginger beer, which I'm very excited about.
Yes.
And of course, because I love some jalapenos, I decided to shake up the vodka with just a little bit of the jalapeno so I can have a little bit of spicy kick in there.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I don't have limes. I don't know where my limes went, but I do have a lemon. So I did a small squeeze of that because I did want the citrusy bit. So that is my hibiscus mule variation.
I like that. A hibiscus mule variation. I might be behind the missing lemons lives, so that's my bet, I think. Well, that sounds delicious. I am drinking what they call the Juana, which is 1 1/2 ounce Highway Vodka, some triple sec, simple syrup, lemon juice, and lime juice. I did a cilantro salt rim, which is something I learned from somebody. But I'm very jealous of your jalapenos. I love a good jalapeno.
Yeah.
And that would be a good kick. But this is very, very delicious, nonetheless, on this rainy day, rainy, dreary, dark day in Atlanta. So yes, today we're talking about Texas-based Highway Vodka, which was founded in 2019 by Ben Williams and Wendell Robbins III, the first Black-owned distillery in Texas. And they specialize in hemp-based vodka, a product that took 8 years of experimentation before they figured it out and were super happy with it. It's distilled 6 times and uses a unique strain of hemp and locally sourced corn. And they've won several awards, including gold medals at the Las Vegas Global Spirit Awards and Denver International Spirits Competition.
Yes. And Robin's 26-year-old daughter, Codi Fuller, acts as the lead distiller and general manager, making her one of the only Black women distillers in the country. You know, we love it. She graduated college with a bachelor's in business administration with a focus on management and got experience in the alcohol industry through bartending. In early 2020, she joined Highway Vodka as the general manager, and after several years of learning from her father, became lead distiller there in December 2021. She also takes a lead on their hand sanitizer production, which I'm sure happened because of the pandemic. So thanks for that.
Yes. She's really involved in a lot of their charitable efforts. So let's do our favorite thing and try to describe the taste.
Yes. Yes, vodka is not my choice of liquors typically. I think because I did so badly with it as a younger drinker, I guess. You know, it became one of those easy, accessible things because that's the only thing I kind of knew. I didn't understand all the drinks, but this one is really nice. So I just took a sip, and it is the burn of vodka and the taste of vodka, but it also has an herbal note. So it ends off without the bitterness. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's where the hemp comes in. That's a little different because it has that good, almost like finish, as if it's almost not barley, like I said, it's more herbal in that note, and it has a nice, clean end to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very unique vodka because it does have, it's pretty smooth, and I can taste the corn, and I can feel that hemp kind of finish out, and it is much more herbal. I'm just not used to having that corn taste in vodka, but it's very nice and it's very smooth, and I really enjoyed it. According to them, from their website, Highway is distilled 6 times, keeping only the hearts of the run to preserve the nuance of the grain and oils from the hemp and corn. The hemp acts as a super fuel to the yeast, forming a thick layer of oil during fermentation. The process yields a smoother product that has a noticeably different viscosity and mouthfeel than other vodkas.
Yes, it definitely, I agree with that. That mouthfeel is completely different. That's the ending that I was like, this is not necessarily the twang that I get with typical vodkas, but it
Mm-hmm.
has that clean finish that it does feel actually finished. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
typically linger. It's because usually that lingering is a bad sign of the burn of vodka. It doesn't do
Right.
that. And that's really nice to see. It's a whole different level to me.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, and I know we've talked about how you worked at a local brewery here. You've worked in this and the alcohol industry before. If you were gonna like distill something, what would be the thing you would go to?
So I have thought about dabbling into some type of home brewing thing, about making wine. Of course, younger, I felt like, hey, take some grapes, put it away. Let's see if it ferments. I probably accidentally did that. But of course, that's
Uh
not wine. I think I
huh.
also told the story of the fact that my old church, they would not buy wine for our communion. So we did communion, but you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do grape juice because that was not what the Bible said according to King James. So they made their own. So one person in the group made their own wine, and it was a whole different taste. I really liked it as a kid too. I was like, oh, look at that. Maybe I should
Uh
make that. All of that to
huh.
say, I think if I wanted to make anything like a distillery of sorts, a product of sorts, it would probably be a gin because I love a
Mm-hmm.
gin. But I also like the ideas of using like juniper, and
Yeah.
what if we use hibiscus, or what if we use lavender? Not that you can't do that with other alcohols. Obviously, you can do
Mm-hmm.
that. Vodka has its a big platform for different flavors and different herbal mixes within vodka. Obviously, hemp being something fairly new, I've not even thought of. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I like what you're doing with that. But I think for me, gin would be the preference. And I
Mm-hmm.
say this in knowing I will never do it. But if I had to choose one, what about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think gin as well, just 'cause that's kind of that potion vibe of like, ooh, what if I had this? What if I had this? And I love this whole idea of, experimenting and trying different things and different aging processes. Like people have tried all sorts of things, like music, they'll play different music. And I love that the thought of doing that. It
Right.
feels very potions class to me. And I did get the opportunity to make gin once, and it was a really fun experience. Also Amaro, because Amaro has a really secretive, interesting past that fascinates
Yeah.
me.
My partner really wants to make it himself. And I'm like, you have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, it is very complicated, and that's a very divisive taste. But Saber and I were lucky enough to do an interview with an Amaro place, and they were telling us about the history, and they wouldn't reveal their secrets, but they did tell us a ghost story. Do you know I love a good ghost story? So I was
Yes.
like, okay, this is great.
Even better.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, you're right. You could do that with any alcohol, really. There are certain rules and definitions you kind of have to fall in. But I do love that
Yeah.
places like Highway Vodka are experimenting with these things I wouldn't have thought of to give kind of this refreshing take.
Right. Do you have a specific flavor you would want to make? So I'm thinking this specifically hemp. I'm like, oh, okay, I wouldn't have thought of that. I know there's peanut butter flavored whiskey.
Right? Right?
So I'm like, what would be a thing?
Ooh. I'm immediately torn between like something kind of like mildly spicy, because
Mhm.
I love shishitos and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
not like the like hot, but kind of like a mild, earthy herbal thing that has heat to it. And I've had a lot of interesting drinks that do that, where I would read the description, I'm like, oh, that was a risk. Did it pay off? And I would take a sip. I'm like, oh,
Right.
it did. But
Yeah.
looking at it, you might think, no way is that gonna
Right.
work.
I like people who venture out and then do it in a way that's tasty instead of just. I know like some flavors, as we talk about the peanut butter one, because I've never had it, but I'm like, that does not sound tasty to me. Maybe just me.
I've had
but
some
like I
good
know people
ones,
have
but
like, people are
yeah.
like really impressed with some of them. Like this
Mm-hmm.
one, again, I didn't think anything of it either way, but I'm like, oh, this really works. Good job,
Mm-hmm.
Highway. Y'all did a great thing here. This is tasty, and it rounds out the vodka in a different way that's really, really on point, as opposed to being counterintuitive and making it kind of a messy flavor profile.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you see it done well, you're like, oh, I never
Yeah.
thought of that. So it's
Yeah.
really nice to think on. I am with you because obviously I put jalapenos almost in everything, it seems. That's been my new thing. Just earlier, I actually touched my eye after touching a jalapeno, and I didn't put it in my eye, but right below, and man, it got swollen and it hurt. And I was like, I regret peppers, but I love them still.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I did feel very bad for you, Samantha, but I am the same way where there's been so many instances in my life where I've been like, I will never do this again. It's too hot. It hurts. Why? Why do I like this? Next day, I'm like, I'll give that another go.
Right.
I would also like to, like, low key, so I don't get sued, to make a lot of Star Wars kind of themed. Like, captures the, you know, the dark side or the light side or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. And I am big, like, as we move into fall, I do love fall flavors a lot. And I do love kind of that Halloween vibe a lot. So I was thinking about, you know, something like that could be really fun
Candy
to play
corn
with.
Vodka.
I'm sure that exists. I
sure
have no doubt in my mind. Is it good? I don't know, but it exists. Well, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. I have my little Ewok tiki cup.
Yep. Wicket. I love it. I love it. Cheers to you, Samantha. Cheers to you, listeners, and cheers to Highway Vodka and Codi Fuller.
Good job, y'all. It's tasty.
Yes, yes. And if you're interested, Highway Vodka is available in Georgia, Florida, Southern California, Texas, and online at reservebar.com. Again, not a sponsor. They did send some to us because they just now became available in Georgia, which is very, very exciting. And yes, we love the work Codi Fuller is doing. Very excited to see where that goes. And as always, listeners, if you have someone you want us to highlight in these segments, please let us know. You can email us at stuffmediamomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at momstuffpodcast or on Instagram at Stuff I've Never Told You. Thanks as always to our super producer, Christina.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I've Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.